Get ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About You, ABQ.
Oh, that's right. It is all about YouABQ. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, lifestyle, so that you walk away with some value and feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests you want to see. So we invite you to join the conversation. You can reach out using our social media tag up here, or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert.
You probably recognize this blue shirt as the head coach of the University of New Mexico men's Lobo hockey team. Now he's absolutely crushing it in the mortgage space.
We've seen Skip on HGTV's House Hunters, and he's part of the top 2% producing real estate agents in the city.
And here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined in studio by Brian Luna, who's an entrepreneur here in Albuquerque. He's got a few different businesses, including restaurants, car dealerships, cannabis. He's going to walk us through kind of what it takes to do business here in Albuquerque and kind of the wins and losses he's had so far.
Yeah, just a self-made guy, and I think it's impressive that I think everything he touches turns gold, has a King Midas touch.
Well, we've had a few guests like that, and it's always fun to tell kind of the behind the scenes here on YouABQ as far as what it takes to get a business up and running, permitting processes, and all the headaches with crime, police, and trying to keep the doors open just in general.
Yeah, I think he's had a touch on all of that, and I think it's kind of neat to gain perspective and see testimonials about how inefficient the city is about doing anything. And when you ask them questions, can I? They're like, I don't know.
Yeah, can I hold please?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was trying to look up some information through the state website for one of our properties out in Edgewood. And it was one of those things where you always hear how backlogged or how long it takes to get a response when it comes to building permits or any type of information about properties. And so I literally called, and it was like, you have to go through the tree where it's like, press 1, press 2. And it was comical. Like, if you were not from New Mexico, you would have been like, this is a comedy sketch. It was like, because literally the voice is like, thank you for calling, like, press 1 if you want for environmental. And I was like, this is hilarious. And so obviously, like, go through the whole tree, and then it's like, you've reached a number that's not even in service. And I'm like, what's new with you, man? What have you been up to?
Well, you know what we did. We went to this golf tournament, and I played. And I told Skip and Brian before the show, I'm a hockey player. I should be good at golf. I'm awful. Only been about 12 times. Skip invited me mainly for the comedic sketches and nothing for contribution towards
the golf. So it was this 4-man scramble, and everybody went out and bought some new golf uniforms. We had some house music bumping.
I'm good at raving.
And Grant got out there in true hockey Happy Gilmore status. Like, he was, here you go, look at this picture. He was
he actually hit a ball in my mouth, but he teed it up really high.
Lost a tooth.
Yeah.
But no, we played with All Night Allen and Anderson.
Anderson, the human Labrador, wagging his tail. Never met a guy he didn't like.
But yeah, it was a good tournament to support local Little Leagues, Duke City Cages, and obviously sponsored by Sold by Skip. Shameless plug.
Oh yeah, Denmark won, by the way. Denmark won handball, so that was big that same day. I woke up at 5:30, yeah.
You always throw the yearly, like, Lobo golf tournament.
Yeah.
And it's got to be, give me the behind the scenes, because I know that at the golf tournament this weekend, there were so many moving pieces and so many people and so much coordination.
Yeah, so it started off like when I first did my golf tournament, it was at Paradise Hills, they call it country club, right? Hardly country club, but it was just like, oh man, can I get 12 teams to come? So I was just, and the problem with me doing that is, as I was a one-man show as a UNM coach, but I didn't want anyone involved, right? So you don't have to answer to anybody when you're autonomous, but what happens is you do all the work. So I scrambled to get 12 teams. 2 teams didn't show up. I didn't collect payment ahead of time, so everyone shows up at like 7:50 and is handing money, and I don't know if anyone's being honest and stuff, so I just look at this money pile, I'm like, I hope everyone paid. It was nerve-wracking.
A couple of new things going on around town. Finally, downtown, Ex Novo
That's cool.
Got energized, and now they're open.
The Corrales parent company, right?
Yeah, so really cool spot. It's actually right across the street. We should probably go check out lunch there or something.
Let's do cake stands.
Another cool development that's ready to open its doors, Nuevo Atrisco development. This is on the west side of town at the end of Central. And this is a cool new building, and it's mixed use. There's some apartments, but also It's a, let's see, the West Central Development Project on Unser Central, soon open its doors, complete with sites for micro restaurants and a teaching kitchen, which I thought was cool. Micro restaurants, and I'm guessing it's more something that came to be out of like COVID, where you can just call in, it's all just pickup only, I'm guessing, type of thing. Like they'll make whatever you want. I'm guessing, I don't really know, but a micro restaurant and teaching kitchens. So if you want to learn some cooking. But anyways, a 6-acre parcel, includes 10,000 square feet of retail space, 17,000 square foot public plaza, 9 permanent food trucks, and a dining room. So the plaza will feature a teaching kitchen to help educate the community on nutritional value, nutritional stuff like that. So making changes here in town. It's a cool development. We'll find out more, so stay tuned.
Because you can't because it's going to crowd drug dealing. Yeah. When you have wheels, when your shop has wheels, this is how we used to get our cannabis.
Sound off. I'd rather have
cannabis.
Yeah, exactly. .com, patent pending.
Yeah. Results not typical. Yeah. So let's. Speaking of being healthy, let's talk about the gym, and let's talk about that on Grant's Rants. Mark, cue it up. All right. Now, I like the gym. Everyone in this room likes the gym, but I'm going to tell you some things I don't like about the gym. Why does the gym have 19,000 cars and there's probably 7 people in there? I have a feeling, a conspiracy theory, that gyms at default have 75% of their parking lot filled, even before they open. There's just cars, they're just stolen cars, they're taking up all the spots. It's hard to find a good spot there. Why is one of the water fountains always broken? Why does the filter show on red and says how many water bottles you saved, and like, but maybe I'll go back to water bottles because that red filter sign is always on, and I see calcium just pouring out the spout. Why is your favorite piece of gym equipment always broken? And if it's not broken, why are 17 teenagers gathering around it, like checking out TikTok or performing pagan rituals? That would be the only reason why there'd be 17 guys circling a piece of gym equipment. Or the other guy who's doing his taxes or has dedicated his whole session to that one piece of machinery, who's getting his mail there. Get that guy out of here. Do you believe in rotation? Why is there always a guy in the steam room creeping people out? There's a guy in the steam room who has decided he's going to stick the garden hose down his pant and make eye contact with me. I'm not proud of you. What do you want me to do? You know, I'm not going to talk to you now. You're making everything so weird. I can guarantee you that garden hose wasn't there for you to stick it down your pants. Last time I was in the steam room, there's a guy doing like Karate Kid in this mist, and I would take that way over guy with the hose down his pants. There's always a guy stretching, and then there's a guy hidden in the fog that you discover, like, whoa, we had a 6th guy in here this whole time, was just with his phone out, recording.
Korean barbecue.
Recording hose pants. The other thing is the locker room is full of like what we call a nudist colony, where people at the last resort will put their clothes on. It's like, dude, you have about 10 minutes to put those boxers on, or you need to go to jail. There has to be a rule. In the gym, it says, put your balls away when you're done. In the locker room, it's to say, put your balls away when you're done also. That has a double fitting. Rick, who's decided he's going to act like Captain Morgan on the bench, you need to stop that. Put your pants on. Let's see here. What else we got here? Let's go back to the steam room. I don't want any conversation. I don't want any conversation on the gym floor. I don't want a conversation in the steam room because I'm fighting for my life in there. I hate the heat. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to. I'm trying to stay in there for 10 more minutes. Just please avoid the conversation. On the gym floor, if I'm in the middle of a set, my face is red, I've got 100 pounds in the air, now's not a good time to ask if I like football. No, I don't like football. I don't like you talking to me. I actually don't want to be talking to you while I'm in my gym session. I don't want to talk about diet. I don't want to talk about how much I bench press. I'm not a 25-year-old or 18-year-old kid. I don't know how much my max is. Please, let's not talk about the gym. Let's not talk about the gym when we leave the gym either. Let's talk about other things, talk about music, but please, let's stop the conversation. This isn't like a golf resort. I just am trying to get in and out of there. I'm happy to see you, but please leave me alone during a set. That's my Grant's Rants. You would think I hate the gym, but I don't like gym talk. After all these years, Grant, what do you do
for biceps?
I'm doing leg day. Oh, my legs are so sore. I don't care. Tell your girlfriend. Even she doesn't care. I don't care when you did legs day. I don't care if you're bulking. I don't care if you took your carbs out.
Dude,
Got your doctor.
it's so true. There's never any parking. Hey, welcome back to YouABQ. I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert.
And we're joined by Brian Luna, who's a local entrepreneur. He's got a car dealership, a cannabis store, med spa, a restaurant. I mean, the guy does everything.
He has a hospital.
Yeah, he's a helicopter pilot. Brian, thanks for showing up today, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
you.
for having me. Appreciate it.
You know what I like about you? Man, you're a really sharp guy, bringing a lot of change to Albuquerque, but you grew up here, moved away a little bit. Talk about your backstory.
Yeah, born and raised here. Primarily lived here most of my life. In high school, got pregnant with my girlfriend at the time. I was at 17 years old. I got into barber college, thought I was going to cut hair for a living. Shocker, that didn't happen. So I went into the car business, started selling cars, and found success in that, was doing pretty well. Kind of canceled out the barber school, kind of let that go and just paid the loan off. And then from there, I started getting promoted in the car business, working my way up the ranks, at an early age, and took over a store here in town called Casa Chevrolet up on Lomas. And I was the GM over there when I was in my 20s, so early 20s, yeah. One of the youngest GMs in the corporation that they ever had, so it was kind of wild.
Well, that's the goal of the show, is to kind of have local members here that rise to the top and start businesses, but also take control of businesses and really make a difference. Mm-hmm. So Albuquerque is kind of one of those small places that people are starting to find out about the Southwest and move to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
But you had a chance to leave Albuquerque for a while. Mm-hmm. Where did you end up going, and then why did you end up coming back?
Well, I was at that store for just under 9 years, I think, and
Wow.
yeah, I was there for a long time.
Young guy's game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So after a while there was an incident there that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was the type, I never cared much about money. I was a company guy for sure, probably to a fault. I should have looked out for my paycheck more, but I just wanted to really grow and learn and do those type of things. And they brought a new person in who kind of insulted me in a way that I took it personal. So I started, putting my feelers out, and lo and behold, somebody from Scottsdale called me and said, "Hey, we'll take you in a heartbeat, and we'll pay you way more, and we'll do this and we'll do that." And I said, "Hey, maybe I need to go look at this," So flew out there, took a look at what the opportunity was, and I was blindsided by how much money they're paying these guys out there. I was like, what have I been doing in Albuquerque this whole time? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And so I never, I came back and I didn't give much notice. I said, listen, man, I said, that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I put a feeler out and I've been offered more than double what I make now. And so I think I'm going to take this opportunity. And they were like, well, we'll match the pay and we'll do this. And it almost offended me more. I was like, why didn't you ever try to pay me more? You know what I mean? Like, if you could match it that easy, why didn't you ever, when I was asked about it before, why not do anything?
Isn't that insulting? The principle of that is so like you were going to just have me go along with this, and this happens in anything, like when it happens in price offerings or salary, you go, so you were going to wait until I had to prove otherwise, and that is insulting. Why couldn't you do the right thing on your own? Why did I have to force you to match it at this point? Like, so you could have done this whole time now.
And it was taking advantage of the fact that I was young and I was so eager that it wasn't about a paycheck for me. I had a lot of ego at the time. I really wanted to be the best store. I wanted to be that. And I didn't think about the money. But when I started to ask for it, I kind of got a slap in the face.
And doesn't that make you a little bit jaded in terms of expectations? Because here you are trying to do the right thing. You're a humble guy. You go, hey, I want to perform. And then you start to have this disillusion of what corporations are like. And they will take it all. Meanwhile, you're giving your best. And I think a business person could go, man, these corporations, they had me fooled. Like, here I was, like, giving you my all. And now, like, this wasn't it. Like, the dream is, it makes you regard corporations and go, hey, they really are in it for themselves, and it makes people who try to do the right thing go, maybe I should be in it for myself. The only one who's going to protect me is me.
Yeah.
Can you describe your experience, though, moving to Scottsdale? Because that's a whole nother world out there.
It was a game changer for my life, period. When I went out there, I thought I was, hot shit out here, and then you meet some of these guys out there that are just go-getters and hustlers and good speakers and got their stuff together and just disciplined in so many different areas. And it was like, man, I was surrounded by talent, just lots of talent. And I didn't have that same thing here. And it raised my game up, took my level up to another level where it was like, man, I got to really compete with a different, type of class.
That's great to be amongst that, because I think it hones you, right? And so you go, your competition will bring you up. If you're meant to be there,
for sure.
Water seeks its own level. Tell me, what were you selling out there? What brand, or like what was your platform?
Well, originally when I got recruited out there, believe it or not, I went to go run an Infinity store called Pinnacle Infinity Nissan, and it was up in North Scottsdale, and they had offered me all the money. Well, these stores, there was like 171 stores owned by Larry Van Tile, who was the Van Tile Group. And when I got there, I said, yeah, man, I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to be able to do it. Well, the day I got there, they called me and said, hey, you're actually going to be over at the Honda store. We want you to interview over there. And I said, what? I said, I just moved my whole family out. They said, trust me, go talk to the guy, go see him. So I went over there and he was like, what do you need to make? What are we going to do? We need you over here. And I was like, okay, this is what it is. He goes, done. You start there, there's your office. Okay. Take over. And I was like, okay. So, it's whatever. So I got into Honda, which I've been a Chevy guy forever. So I'm going Honda. It's a whole different world, whole different ballgame. But, and brand has a lot of influence on what type of clientele you have, so you got to kind of adapt to that. But,
and I think there's some service-oriented habits you probably got in the culture out there. So selling cars is actually not a slimy profession in some cities, right? And sometimes the stigma of a car salesman is this slick guy, trying to sell people. And I think why I liked you so much is you have this honest, and the reason why you named your business that, you have an honest take, because I don't think people can be sold necessarily anymore. They go, I want to deal with the guy who's talking to me normal and isn't treating me like, I can be swindled or persuaded. Yeah. And I think people enjoy a genuine guy. And
my experience too, like in buying a car, it was like, I want to learn something from the car salesman. Like you're teaching me something. I'm getting value out of that instead of I just feel like you're just trying to get my money.
Yeah, instead of when he says this, you said this, and treating people like they're one type of personality, it's really insulting, right? And so I think guys like you, we walk in and we go, I'm not fucking dealing with this.
Well, let's switch gears then. So you did some time at Scottsdale. How in the hell did you end up back in Albuquerque then?
So it's going to be funny, but a little bit of a story here. I'll try to keep it short. But bottom line is, when I was at that store, there was the economy crash kind of going on in 2007, 2008.
Very familiar.
And I got recruited out to a dealership called Bill Hurd Chevrolet, which was the largest Chevy retailer in the world. And they had a huge offer for me that I just couldn't refuse, and I took the offer. This was in Scottsdale. I went to that company, and they were paying me. They put me up in a this penthouse and gave me and my wife at the time a demo and all this stuff's free cars. They were just trying to put it all out there. And I was going, man, this is odd. They're really putting out the deal. But I was like, okay, cool. So I got in there. We're trying to get in the black, trying to turn the store around and get it going. It's a huge store they just built with elevators. It's a big showroom.
Yikes.
And it was a big on-taking, but I was getting it going. And then I got in the mail a letter that said that, you need to make sure you get your last paycheck. The store's filing bankruptcy for all 17 stores. And I was like, what? Was it a big thing from an attorney? And I was like, what's going on? And so the business basically was going to go under, and I knew it. And the economy was crashing. Anyways, he got an offer from a company out in Beverly Hills that owned a Toyota Nissan store and a Honda store franchise, like a chain. And they wanted us they wanted me to be GM and him to be the GSM. And he said, they'll take us both on, they'll bring us, and we can do all this stuff. I was like, man, I don't know. I said, I don't know if I want to go to Beverly Hills and do this. And it was a different deal. It was kind of his deal, and I was getting put in, but I don't know, it just felt good. But anyways, we were kind of arguing about it. We said, why don't we just put it in a hat and let the girls pick? It wasn't for me. I had a vision of what I wanted to do, and not only that, it was luck a little bit, because at that time they had crashed so bad that you could steal them at an auction. I was buying them pennies on the dollar, half a book. I was like, nobody wants them. All the other dealers that went out of business were stocked up with them at full price, and when they crashed, they lost money and went out of business, right? Yeah. But I was buying them for pennies on the dollar, so I get to come in when it's low, right?
Cue up some of the pictures, and we'll talk.
And so this was the birth of Integrity Automotive.
This was the birth of Integrity Automotive.
You had one on Lomas.
So right, this is the Lomas one. It was the old Southwest Hyundai building, and I bought that. It was kind of a trailer. It was a little bit of a dump.
Get to the car parts here. Just kind of
That's not the trailer in the dump, by the way.
That's the nicest trailer I've ever seen.
I'll buy a car from there. I don't think he has any car pictures ready. Anyways.
No, Did
you send them?
Yeah.
I sent some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, so that's fantastic, and I think that Grant was ranting and raving about some of the cars you have on the lot. Are we allowed to brag? Can we go down some of the high end?
Well, he's accustomed to it. So from the outside person, he's got Rolls Royces and Bentleys and Jags and just every Lamborghinis and stuff. I think the first time I actually had some seat time was a Lamborghini. When he's my neighbor down the street, and I was like, hey, it's like, sure, whatever. It's second nature to him. High-end BMWs. The theme that we like to reiterate on this show is the yes people, right? Because everyone probably told him, like he said, that will never work. There's not enough buyers. You can't have luxury cars in Albuquerque. And there's businesses that keep popping up that serve to that demographic, which we certainly can support it. He's evidence of that. So it's kind of neat that some people usually had to leave town, right? Your average person who wants a really nice luxury car, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
His dealership is so pretty. It's on Coors near that the dealership pocket near Cottonwood. But he's got some fantastic vehicles, and you will go, oh my God, that's here. So a lot of times people can actually stay in town and get something. And let's be honest about the car market. There are some people that go, God, I wasn't in the mood for a G-Wagon, but I like that thing.
Yeah,
It's here. Maybe I'll go.
Yeah,
So
sure,
people have that same appeal with different means when they go, I didn't plan on it, but people impulse car shop too, right? Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about. He's got 3 other businesses. He's got the spa, right? And let's talk about the bar.
That's Oak and Ivy. Oak is actually a ultra club, ultra lounge nightclub type vibe. This is more of our traditional restaurant, but it has a big bar in it. We took over the old Yanni's, which was a staple. That restaurant was open for 27 years.
And this is right in the heart of Nob Hill, probably
right in the heart of Nob
A++
Hill.
location.
Yeah, a beautiful location, right in the sweet spot of Nob Hill, right across from Matucci's.
That's great.
Yeah. So we do brunches. I mean, we have a curated menu from an executive chef. I mean, we have really good food and really good drinks. Our bar scene is fun. We have DJs on Fridays and Saturday nights and Sunday brunches.
And so I'm sorry. So at night it joins into Oak and Ivy, or?
Yeah. So Ivy is the main part, the restaurant. So if you remember, Yanni's had Limoni Lounge and Yanni's.
Yeah, correct.
And then it had this other banquet room. We turned that banquet room into a club, basically.
Okay.
We put a DJ booth and booths and VIP tables. We do champagne bottle service and stuff like that. So it's a fun environment. Kind of gives you that Scottsdale vibe. If you've been to Scottsdale and see those kind of clubs and restaurants out there where you can eat and have a fun live brunch, those type of things.
We always talk about how that's Albuquerque's always lacked for that, or if in the event they do get something like that, it's so quick before all the knuckleheads come in and ruin everything.
There you go. Now we're starting. Mark, finally, thank you for unearthing the pictures I already sent. Okay, let's talk about that's your spa.
This is our medical spa, yeah. So we have everything from weight loss to hair gain over there. So it just depends what you want. But we got state-of-the-art lasers.
Does dentistry?
We have an injector. Amy Dean's our main injector, and then Izzy's our other injector. But she's out of Beverly Hills, and she's like the makeup artist for some of the Rachel Bilson and some other people. So she does amazing work over there. So I mean, that's a phenomenal place to go for weight loss injections and everything else.
So the injection thing, I'll confess right now. So I get this for it, right? And the person that is a pro at injections for face or whatever, they know where to put. You don't want your average person shooting stuff in your face. That's what I'm going to tell you.
It's very, very, very complicated to do, and you got to make sure you're doing it right. But also, even if they do it, it's an aesthetic thing, So they want somebody to make you look at your face and want to make sure they make it look right.
That's why I no longer do lip plumpers on myself in my garage.
Yeah,
they went bad. You're not supposed to use motor oil.
Yeah, the old vacuum trick doesn't work.
You're supposed to use Castrol 5W30.
Just an air pump tire.
And so one more, you have and where is the spa located?
The spa's over Osuna and Jefferson.
Okay, and now
before we fast forward, let's hit the brakes a little bit, because
you want an injection right now?
Yeah, good. What'd you bring with you? No, so all of these businesses are completely different. I mean, we're talking about cannabis, we're talking about med spa, we're talking about restaurant, we're talking about luxury cars. Who are you, and how in the hell there's no way all of these were your brainchild?
I would like to say that I'm an entrepreneur that likes to start up businesses. That's my biggest thing. I like to get them up and running. Obviously I could not run all these businesses by myself. It really takes a team of people. I think what my thing that I found the most success in was finding out what I'm not good at and hiring people for those things, right? And that's what it takes. And there's a lot of these areas that you have to just put away your ego and go, I need to hire somebody that knows how to do this, because I don't. I'm not good at it. And so I've been fortunate enough to find people to help me do that. And I've got people.
Sorry, when it comes to schooling, though, I mean, you said you were maybe doing barber college. So where does your business sense come from? I mean, obviously you were running a dealership.
Yeah.
Is that
What's funny is one time I was driving a McLaren, and these kids stopped me and do those kind of, hey, what do you do for a living, interview. And I gave this advice, and then I read the thing later on TikTok, and it was saying that was horrible advice,
Everyone's crashing you.
But what I said, listen, I said, whatever it is you want to do, I suggest go work for a car dealership or a real estate company or something, and learn on their dime. Just really don't worry about the money. Just go in there and work your tail off and try to figure out the business aspect of it. Because I was fortunate enough to get thrown into the woods with a bunch of these car guys, and I learned so much from really good bosses.
Who said that was bad advice?
That's what they said. And I said, and then take
That's why you're sitting here on TikTok and I'm in my McLaren.
And I said, take the money you get from that and then go invest in yourself, right? Then just go do it. Go try whatever it is you want to do. Find out what it's passion, And let me tell you, opening this restaurant is very humbling. You think you're a businessman and you can do it. Go start a restaurant. You'll see how hard it is. And what's funny is most young entrepreneurs, that's kind of the business avenue they go. It seems like the easiest when you look at it from the outside in. Oh, I know how to cook. I know how to do. but it has the most variables. It has the most, the hardest to employ staff. I
Well,
mean,
what's the percentage? The first year, how many restaurants go out of business?
I think it's like 80% in the first year. So it's crazy numbers. I was actually just watching a TikTok about it the other day, and I was like, oh man, I think my fiance sent me one. I was like, oh, don't read that stuff. That's the other thing I'll tell people is get rid of negative thinking. You know, that's the biggest killer. Is just take it out of your thought process, take it out of your day, man. Just get rid of it. As soon as it starts to creep in your mind, just let it go.
So, but let me ask you this though: cannabis company. I mean, that had to be an absolute nightmare trying to navigate the red tape through the city and
absolutely.
licensing and venues.
Yeah, cannabis is another tough industry in a sense that. I mean, my son is pretty much a damn botanist. You know, I mean, you have to really know what you're doing in there. I mean, it's something to where growing is a science. I mean, and the people who smoke weed these days are wine connoisseurs times 10, right? I mean, they are like the brewery snobs. You know what I mean? They are. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, and fortunately, my son is such a, you know, he's one of those researchers. He learns this stuff. He's also self-taught and everything, but he has really killed it in this business and learned how to grow some really quality
Your
products.
son is a bit of a prodigy. He had the Supra. Talk about
Yeah,
that.
the
He has
Supra.
the Supra. So I mean, he's already up there in my books. But
That's all it takes.
The kid is a very motivated. He's a prodigy. I mean, anything he wants to learn about, he will, and become proficient in it. So we do have to wrap up our segment. We went over, dude. Congrats on all your businesses.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I've learned a lot, even about him. We're really good friends, and I didn't know he popped up 3 businesses. So,
Yeah, Brian, I appreciate you sharing some knowledge
Hey, no
with us. We'll
problem.
have
Thank
links
you.
to all of your businesses in our show notes. But coming up, here's why you're going to want to stay tuned, everybody.
Do it
It's
in the
time
sound.
for
Mark.
Skip's Tips.
Oh, yeah.
Finally.
Skip's Tips. Stay tuned.
We're here for segment 3. Thank you, Brian Luna, for coming on. Integrity Automotive, Blush, the other 2 conglomerates of restaurants. Good job. This is what Albuquerque needs. We're going to get into Skip's Tips. Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is time for Skip's Tips, or anything that saves us time, makes us more money, allows us to have more fun in real estate or in real life. There's a lot of changes going on, and 3 of the main, we're going to talk about some pain points, right? In the real estate market, especially for buyers right now, some with sellers, but some of the main 3 of the biggest challenges or 3 of the biggest pain points that buyers are facing in the market right now would be now the new mandated buyer-broker agreements. And this is something that's taking place all across the country. It's now mandated that you sign a buyer-broker agreement before you even look at a property. And so this is adding a little bit more of some complexity to the home buying process. The next would be increased closing costs. And closing costs are the fees associated with obtaining a mortgage, closing the transaction, and now even building in some additional fees for either compensation or just changing market conditions. And in a competitive market, the last thing would be limited negotiation powers, right? If you're a buyer and you're bidding against other buyers, you're limited on your negotiating powers just because it's that type of market. But there are some workarounds or some solutions for some of these pain points. Like understanding the buyer-broker agreement, like work hand in hand with your buyer's agent to kind of understand what the terms are, how to use it to your advantage, and what the reason is behind signing it. When it comes to closing costs, always shop for lenders, right? As a preferred lender, you always offer the best fees, the best services, but shop around and see it's not just about rate, it's about closing costs, and there are some ways you can mitigate those. And strategizing your offers, right? One of that last pain point of negotiations, strategize on your offer depending on how the market is, how long has this house been on the market, what are some of the influencing factors of the transaction. But that's just it. I mean, what are some of the challenges that you're facing in this market? Leave a comment in the section below and I'll reach out to you personally. And either way, share this with a friend and tell them Skip said so.
Oh, yeah.
That is great.
That fucks.
That's a good one. You know what? Something I want to take away from having Brian on here. Imagine like people's paralysis about making decisions. And here's a guy who goes, "I'll try it out. I'll try it out. I'll try it like 3 times in 1 year." It's kind of inspiring, right?
Well, you know what I like about it too is it's not like they're just fly-by-night businesses. Like I just bought a McDonald's franchise. We'll see if it works out. This guy, from the ground up, has a cannabis grow house to dispensaries to a luxury market dealership, a med spa that looks like it's straight out of LA.
Yeah.
A nightclub. Like none of these are even like.
They tell you to have like your money perform for you. So I guess the the steps to building wealth is to have money, making money while you're sleeping, essentially, having things perform for you. And it seems pretty diversified. I don't think that the vanity market's going away. I think it's increasing. The nightclub stuff's always been there. I think a place with food and where he's at, we're going to pump his tires more. Where he's at is necessary for Albuquerque. That you empty Yanni's out with no tenant, it's not a good look. So I think when people talk about progression, he's helping anchoring Nob Hill and a resurgence and revitalizing. So these are all big movements. Besides the business aspect, it's important to have commerce in there because Nob Hill is a great place, and it could be desolate or you could have it thriving again. And I think he's putting his money where his mouth is.
Another great episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is all about you.
And
ABQ.
French toast.
You're watching YouABQ.